Information. One of our newer listeners, Chuck up in Sublimity, has passed along to us. God, this guy's got a gob of music information that, I had never even thought about.
And the neat thing is he happened to be around, the neat thing is he was around the Salem, Lebanon, Oregon rock scene in the late 60s, early to mid-70s.
Well, he's only 6 months older than I.
And had some really great information, and was involved in some studios and radio stations, and has some really neat recordings that he had the presence of mind to save. We've got a couple of them up here. Thank you, Chuck. And I think we're probably going to play, one or two of his recordings. They look tasty to me, as a special some night.
He does have one out there. I listened to it. I liked it. We'll get into that another night. But he mentioned a band from Lebanon, and I'm kind of surprised that I've never heard of this band, because it was about the era that my folks was they were never what I would classify per se bar hoppers, but they did like to go out on Saturday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights, and back in those days, they would leave me in the car with the radio on, and
is that right? Back in the day when you could do that.
Yeah. And they bring me a hamburger out and fries,
that's nice.
and stuff like that. My folks, my family owned Skyline Inn here in Sweet Home, and so on, and some other bars in Lebanon and stuff, Wood Chippers and Shirley's Tavern and so on. But anyway, he mentioned a group called I lost track of where I was going there. Grant and the Blue Boys, which they later changed their name to Grant Blue Boys, because Grant was killed in a tragic car accident on Highway 20 after doing a gig out at Camp Adair. I read the article I asked him about it, and he actually sent me the article on that, and took out 3 telephone poles.
And we're looking at the mid to late 60s. They were active as a group, say 1965 to 1970, and the remnants of the group decided to honor Grant Johnson by keeping the name, and instead of Grant and the Blue Boys, they became Grant's Blue Boys.
Yeah.
And that was pretty neat. And you were saying that, and that Chuck told you, that this was a Lebanon, Oregon group, and that, they didn't go as far as Paul Revere and the Raiders, but another great Northwest group. And they would open often in the Salem Auditorium for the biggest groups in the country.
They did.
So when you needed a good, reliable rock and roll act to open for, say, what?
The Animals, the Doors, and probably many others.
How do you beat it? You called on Grant and the Blue Boys.
Absolutely. And we got a couple tunes coming up here in a couple minutes. But why don't you run down the list of who the members of the group were?
Yeah. Anyway, and they did record not a whole bunch, but one that we have survived on Garland Records, and it was a Garland recording studio in Salem, Oregon. And we'll play those 2 songs for you, If I Were a Carpenter and Love Is Such a Game. And the group included Steve Carter on guitar, Dan Daly on bass, Stan Foster on sax, Steve Holbrook on drums, Don Jansen on guitar, Ralph Wayne Nutter, also known as Buck Richard Johnson, on guitar, Grant Johnson, he who died in the accident, on keyboards, Larry Page on keyboards and guitar. And over the years, some of the group besides Grant have passed away. I know Dan Daly passed away. I don't know the status of the others. We certainly wish them well if they're still around, and hope you all enjoy this, folks. If you're maybe were in Lebanon, from 65 to 70, you heard these guys at one of the local venues. They were big enough in this area that they headlined shows.
I'm surprised,
here and there in the Northwest. Here,
I'm surprised we didn't see them around Sweet Home or as well. I mean,
indeed, might have.
But anyway, let's take a listen to them now. I played one last night, but let's go ahead and listen to them again. It sounded really good.
All right, buddy, here on Garland Records, Grant's Blue Boys or Grant and the Blue Boys. If I Were a Carpenter, an old folk song that they did kind of psychedelic rockish, and Love Is Such a Game from 1969, 92.7, 92.1.
My love for sorrow. Please don't make me feel this way. I see our love that's lost its meaning. Your love is tearing me apart. Don't try to kid yourself, you're only dreaming. I know, I knew it from the start. Some people think love is such a game. My love is not that way. I want you to be by my side, so I call your name. You don't love me the way you should. Think you're above me, and I leave you if I could. I see our love that's lost its meaning. Your love tears me apart. Don't try to keep yourself, you're only dreaming. I know, I knew it from the start. Some people think love is such a game. My love is not that way. I want you to be by my side, so I call you.